Square, where culture meets business. Florence Square, where culture meets business.
Camera's rolling.
Welcome to Square Biz Podcast here at Florence Square, 2251 Florence Road. I am your host, Aaron Boyce, and you are?
I am Robin Rosehammer.
I gotta tell you, I wasn't sure if I was gonna hear those words ever again. I am Robin Rosehammer. I knew she was here, I knew she was somewhere, but she disappeared for a while. Something about getting her PhD. Okay, something about that, okay?
Small little task, I'm understanding.
And I wished you well with a tear rolling down my cheek.
I thought there was more than one.
There was one. Because it's symbolic. It's symbolic, okay? Okay, so.
Tell the truth, Aaron, you wept.
Like a baby. like a baby, okay? So here you are, and I wanna know, how is that PhD thing going?
It's going very well. I have submitted the first 3 chapters for consideration and got feedback, so now I'm working on edits and revisions.
Okay, so, because I never went for my PhD, but I hear that it's extremely task-oriented. So when you say that you submitted your first 3, what exactly is the task of getting your PhD?
It's typically a 5-chapter document based on some research or specific topic area. I have chosen the importance of emotional intelligence in transitional age youth experiencing homelessness in the Sacramento region to workforce development. So after about 23 years in workforce development in Sacramento, I figure I should be able to write a few hundred words on that. And the idea with the process is that you learn about creating a literature review and what the methodology you would like to use in terms of your study, and also what theorists you'd like to support. So that is where I've been spending all of my time in terms of my classwork leading up till now. And now I'll be doing a majority of writing and revising as I start my fingers crossed research in the next few months.
So then you would say that people who you come across who say they are a doctor because they got their doctorate, you say that they earned every single letter of that doctorate.
I can't speak for everyone's doctoral program, but I will say that the process that I am going through with the University of Pacific Sacramento campus is indeed worthy of the honorific doctor.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I mentioned that because, there was some people seriously questioning, well, why must he always put the doctor in front of their name, you know? I mean, you're Bob. And they go, no, I'm Dr. Bob, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so I'm thinking they don't understand. I just think they don't understand, as you understand, what goes into it. And I would bet, Robin Rosehammer, that when you get there, it's going to be Dr. Robin Rosehammer all day long.
I have made several announcements, public service messages, flyers, some smoke signals, carrier pigeon or 2 to folks to say, for the first month or so, I'm gonna need you to put a little doctor on that.
Nice, very nice, very nice. Well, we have somebody who's a doctor in our own mind, okay? And that is my sister.
Okay.
Hey, I had to find a segue somehow. That was it, okay? My sister, Sharima
Dumas,
yes. Oh my goodness. Sharima Dumas. Say hello.
hello. Okay, I'm just happy to be here today with Aaron and Robin. All right, and I love what Florence Square represents today. And whatever we're going to talk about, I'm glad to be here. Fortunate.
Wonderful, wonderful. And we are going to have a dialogue, things have happened. Things have happened, change has happened.
Oh.
And we're going to talk about the change now. We are expecting another young lady. She's attending here, all things literacy. Her name is Dana Maisha. Not only does she run a bookstore, but she also is a mental health professional. And so we're going to be talking about changes as it impacts mental health. You see, what I wanted to do is, well, first of all, let's talk about Flower Square. So Flower Square, 2251 Flower Road. This is a wonderful place. Some people call it, and I agree, Sacramento's Black Wall Street. Now why? Because we are about 90% African American owned. Even the building is owned by an African American. We have one of five, I believe, maybe six, Black Heritage Museums in all of Northern California. Okay? And we are expanding it to make it bigger and better. We have a wellness center that will be operational around March. We're gonna have a food court soon, right? And now we have a nonprofit, Flower Square Community Development Corporation. And if you had to ask yourself, what areas does our community most need? I bet you would think of the word beach. Not because they need a beach, but because they do need business and economic development, education, arts and culture, community development, and health and wellness.
How long did it take you?
It was a vision. Okay, so, and it works.
A good acronym, yes.
Absolutely. You know, we can say life's a beach. You know? But you would agree that those five areas are much needed in the community.
Absolutely.
And this is what Flower Square Community Development Corporation is tasked to do. We have 9 committed board members who are out there doing the task to collaborate with our tenants who are already doing great things.
Mm-hmm.
That we're collaborating with our tenants for the community. So a lot is happening in Flower Square. Change. And it's good change. My job is done.
You're very proud of yourself. I think actually after the acronym, you probably could rest well.
After that, okay, all right.
He's very good at that. He does that a lot, the acronyms. But so does the government. Everything's an acronym.
Wow. Okay. I never thought I would be linked with government in that way, right?
Come on, TSA, the SBA, USA, they're all acronyms.
And now beach.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love beach.
Hey.
I miss it. We don't have any here, so hey, at least that mindset we can kind of dream.
We got Folsom Lake.
Okay.
I don't think that you should necessarily put that in the same
We should
category.
do that. Okay. No, you're probably right.
And shame on you for coming from New York City, okay?
Hey, I get it. I was in Wilmington, New Jersey. In Wilmington, New Jersey, we were on the shore, my wife and I. It was the bluest of waters, and even though it's not Hawaii, the beaches were so white and beautiful. So white and beautiful, right? Now, the only thing that messed us up, I'm kind of pointing you in that direction here. Okay, just kind of pointing you in that direction. Is the seagulls. Do you know they got very aggressive seagulls?
Yeah, that's
And
true.
so as we, you know, I like to just feed the ducks and everything, but the seagull decided to get in on this, right? And the seagull, after our third loaf of bread, we were done, right? So we're like, no, that's it, go away now, go away. They want to go away. And so we're like, they're not going away. And they start to look, kind of Man, so we start to edge toward our car, seagulls hover. So they were literally hovering over us. And all I could think of at that time is Alfred Hitchcock.
Yes, the birds.
And that movie, the bird. I'm like, honey, slowly, run to the car! So,
We had a scene like that, unfortunately, in Atlantic City. And I was on a boardwalk with the children because they're not allowed in the casino, and I don't care about gambling, so I wasn't in there either. I was hanging out with the kids on the beach. And we stopped to grab them something to eat, and we're walking down the boardwalk, and the kids got French fries and other things. And all of a sudden, the seagulls came down and swooped it right out of their hand.
whoa!
And then all of them started attacking. The kids started running and screaming. It was just like the scene of the birds running down the boardwalk, screaming at.
That's crazy.
I've never seen anything like
Well, it sounds like your beach is preferable then.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now, I told Miss Dana Maisha 6:30, so let's not put the camera on her unless she's ready, because it is 6:15 or so. So, are you ready?
Sure. I'm just putting off my.
Okay. So,
Thank you.
So Dana Maisha is here, and as I mentioned, she is the proprietor of All Things Literacy, one of the greatest bookstores, Black-owned and Black-themed bookstores in all of Northern California. That's number one. But also, she deals with mental health. Okay, and so she has a program under that. I'll tell you about it. Well, wait a minute. Mental health, but she also has like a award program for young men and young women where she takes a lot of time to teach them life skills and other things to make them bigger, better, stronger people. You know, both young men and young women. I'm gonna let her tell you about it.
Okay, sure.
The goddess, Miss Dana Maisha.
Oh my God, thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I really appreciate the time and energy that you create in the space for this time. So yes, my name is Dana Maisha. I own All Things Literacy Books and More. It's located here in Suite 113 inside of Florence Square Mall. My hours are Wednesday through Saturday from 11 to 6 p.m. I also have a nonprofit organization called Escape Velocity Resources, and I push literacy. So I have Boys in the Hood Book Club and Around the Way Girls Book Club. Our target demographic is ages African American children, ages 7 to 13 years old. And so I utilize that platform to push other initiatives such as self-advocacy, self-care, self-actualization, assertiveness training, and stuff like that. Not really training, but definitely empowering young girls and young boys. And I'm so happy that this spring I'm going to be opening up a youth and family mental health office where we bridge the gap between the community and access to therapy. Also to just trying to take away the stigma from therapy. You know, oftentimes in our community, you'll hear us talking about getting our hair done or our nails done before you hear us talking about us taking care of our mind or processing trauma or things of that nature. And so that is what I would like to do. I suffered from depression as a young child, and had I known I was depressed, I probably would have tried to get help or, be able to articulate to my parents like, oh, I think, I'm feeling this way, that way. Sometimes young people that are feeling maybe depression or other types of just needing to process trauma and to really debrief about something or to be empowered so that they can self-advocate and self-actualize and realize that what they're going through, though it may be unfortunate, to that they can still aspire to be who they want to be. Oftentimes when we think about mental health, we think about needing a prescription or a straitjacket or having a hold in a psych ward. But that sometimes mental health, it swings, that axle swings, and sometimes people just need people to talk to and other tools and resources so that they're not self-medicating. They can trust someone to talk to and process their issues so that they don't have to carry certain things in their spirit. They can walk lighter.
Cool. And you should know that she has, Dana Misha has a ongoing series of articles in the Square Biz newsletter. And she is on page, well, we got 1, 2, 3, page 1, 2, 3, 4, page 5, okay? So that means health and wellness. And it's very good. Mental health in the African American community. So I want to start the conversation. You had a comment or question? Yes, go
I
ahead.
want to ask, okay, how do you go about outreach to people? Because a lot of times people who suffer from various kinds of depression, they don't know how to ask, they don't know they should ask,
Right.
and they don't know where to go, even if they said, well, I do need help.
Mm-hmm.
So how is it that you are able, how do you try to reach those people to let them know that you're here?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. Thank you for asking. So, I do it word of mouth, and I use my literacy programs, right? So I utilize those programs as a platform to make the parents and the youth and their siblings and their families aware of resources, not only that I provide, but that all of us provide, right? Because we're in a mecca of resources right here in this building. But since I'm going to be opening up the office this spring, I'm going to have space, right, and opportunity all the time. So one of the things I'm going to do, since youth are my target demographic, I already have young people. I work with 17 people this fall in a youth mental health cohort. Many of them have written essays that all of you guys are going to be able to read because it's going to be put in a booklet format. Also Valencia's in it, Taylor's in it, people that you know. Also social media. I'm gonna have to get a social media presence. And so what this program is gonna do is provide an internship for a young person. And one of their jobs is going to be to give us a social media presence, right? So that's one way. Another way too is we're gonna hit the pavement and just go door to door, go to other organizations that offer resources, go into communities. We know where our people live. Also to go out to the schools, to their resource person, make sure that they're made aware and if they can recommend families and stuff like that. There's so much work out here, you know what I mean? Yeah, so I'm gonna start there, and I'm just going to hope and pray that all of the stars aligned and that we be able to make a good impact on the community,
I was just gonna say, that sounds excellent, those ideas and concepts. And since you're dealing with literacy, I used to be a teacher myself.
Oh.
And it's great, a platform for going to the schools, when they're having their meetings.
Mm-hmm. You mean like school site council?
No, okay, I mean, you can deal with that and give it to, because, especially in Black communities, they're in denial. They don't like the idea of, so all they do is they say, oh, you're going to you're crazy, okay, you're talking to the psychiatrist, and it's not that.
Right.
And so there's this stigma on the idea of even acknowledging, much less trying to seek help.
Yes.
I'm talking about PTA meetings and stuff like that, where you're going to places where maybe parents are gathering to listen, to talk, so they can hear for themselves and or for their children. Because even I'm a women's advocate and I deal with domestic violence, and most women don't like to acknowledge at all, that they're in that situation, even though I would say a larger percent of the people have had in it, dealing with it, trying to get away from it, and don't want to talk about it.
So we're going to try to stay on topic.
Yes.
And the reason why I say that is because clearly, there's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
Mental health isn't in one box. It fits many boxes.
Yeah,
Okay?
was talking about
So Dana will be back, and we can talk about a lot of stuff.
That's
Yeah.
In fact, what I may do is I may just let her go and just get some coffee. You know, because you're just that good. You know.
Oh, thank
I
you.
have one more question for
Okay.
Robin, right?
Mhm.
You said you're getting your doctorate, okay, in what?
In education.
Oh,
Okay.
so you didn't say that.
Okay. You thought it was popcorn, huh? How you thought it was popcorn? She's like that. You know?
And education in general for what?
My focus is on building strong organizations, so it's nonprofit leadership and organizational development.
Okay. And is that geared more to younger groups or older children, older adults and young adults, or?
So the focus of my research is on how best to help youth who are experiencing homelessness, and the age group that I'm working with are transitional age youth. So youth between the ages of 18 and 23 years old.
Okay, gotcha. Very interesting.
Thank you.
So, Albert, do they want to sit down with us? Do they want to see?
Would you like to speak?
To sit.
Would you
Would
like
like
to
a
sit
seat?
down? Oh.
Okay, good. Okay. So, Robin, I promised myself that I would not look backwards. Honestly, there's way too much pain looking backwards. Way too much pain looking backwards, and it's something that I literally said, no, we're not gonna do it. I wanna look forward.
Right.
So I would really like to have this conversation about looking forward.
Sure.
If a 5-letter word never gets mentioned,
Starts with a T.
I think that would be fantastic. I don't think it's necessary,
Right.
you know? So we're gonna spend our next segment talking about, we'll talk about some of the stuff that happened in 2020 and how 2021, we want to shape it so that it's different, you know? So we're gonna do that in our next segment. We hope that you come back. This is Square Biz podcast at Flower Road. I'm your host, Aaron Boyce, and you are?
Robin Rose Hamer.
And we're here with Sharima Duval and Dana Maisha, and we'll see you back in 2. My name is Aaron Boyce, host of the Square Biz podcast here at Flower Square, where culture meets business. We're at 2251 Florence Road in the heart of South Sacramento on 24th and Florence Road. Happen to be Sacramento's black-owned Wall Street, 1% minority-owned, 85% black-owned, 60% women-owned. So we're here for you, we're here for your success, we're here for your business. So come on in, check us out, and by all means, check out Square Biz Podcast, coming to you on all forms of social media.
Florence Square, where culture meets business.
So, Robert,
Florence Square, where
I just
culture
got a
meets
question.
business.
When you woke up this morning, in your neighborhood, did the sun shine a little bit brighter? Did the birds sing a little bit louder? Did the grass grow a little bit greener?
I will say that the peaceful and sunshine-filled environment was palpable in the 95817 where I live.
Okay. And to what might you attribute that condition?
Well, there was a blustery breeze that blew through the land and swept out all of the old negativity and dirt
Yes.
from our environment.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I kind of got that. Yes. Yes.
It's a brand new day.
Yes. And so this brand new day, can you describe it? Can you compare it? What are your thoughts about this brand new day?
I think one of the most descriptive feelings that I have experienced and talked with others about is a peacefulness that now exists. There was a tremendous amount of anxiety and stress that had kind of built up over a myriad of topics, but largely just in day-to-day living. You never knew what was going to happen. It felt like the other shoe was going to drop constantly, and waking up on this day didn't feel as if you had to be concerned that there was some new drama or trauma that was going to happen. And I don't think that anyone is confused about the fact that there is some magical healing that has happened in the United States. But the ever-present sense of drama has seemed to have dissipated.
Yes. Yes.
Amen.
Okay. I'm presuming the same condition happened in your neighborhood too?
Well, I'm not so sure I was looking at the skies or anything. I just know that my heart and my ability to be able to breathe and what you call it, exhale. You know, and to, like she says, okay, to know that you're not, that the other shoe is not going to drop. It's not going to drop. You're not thinking like that. And that the things that we're looking forward to now, okay, is a promise. A promise as opposed to before. We had no promises. We had lie after lie after lie after lie after lie. It just went on indefinitely. You just ask yourself, when is this ever going to end? And it finally has, as far as that part is concerned. There's a lot of stuff that's got to be done. There's a lot of things that's got to be put in respect. Okay, a lot of heads got to roll. Okay, because a lot of bad has been done, but we have now a hope, a promise that we can breathe and look forward to a better tomorrow. I know the people that are in Dakota. I have my neighbors, they're Native American, and their family they're from the Dakota natives, okay, and their family is ecstatic that they stopped that pipeline thing. They never wanted it, they were fighting it, if you can remember, okay, and to hear that that's now stopped, you know, that was a breath of fresh air for them.
Good. All right. And Zena, how about you?
I would have to say that today, this morning when I woke up, it's been a long time since I wanted to hear from that office. You get what I'm saying? So I had kind of turned a deaf ear to the office for quite some time. And so I'm so happy. I feel, as a Black woman, I feel very empowered. I feel, I just feel all of the energy and the excitement. I feel like, yeah, it is a new day. But like you said, I also feel like there is a lot of work that still needs to be done. And so while we're kind of like, you know, rocking back and forth to this like melody and harmony, it's also too a very real reality of what we've seen not too long ago. Like that energy didn't just, you know, so there's still much to contend with. So I know one thing that taught me is not to confuse reality with illusions. And I think for a long time, many of us, I know it myself, I have been under an illusion. And so now I think that we're forced to look at reality, but at the same time, there is hope. there is hope. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to the future. I'm looking forward to what could be and the possibilities. I'm looking forward to talk to Around the Way girls about what we saw and the poem that little goddess did. Yes, and so I already have it queued up, and so we're definitely going to talk and speak about that. And but we're also going to talk about the other stuff too. And so that's what I say about using the book club as a platform. I call it literal influence, because you have a captive audience, and they're young and impressionable, and there's a sponge. And one of the things that I do is I don't impose my views on them or anyone, but I do ask them questions and expose them to things that cause them to critically think. You get what I'm saying? And
you know, you mentioned Miss Angela Gorman.
yeah.
I do believe that's her name, right?
Amanda. Yeah.
Angela Gorman, right? And when she got on, I honestly thought she was like 16 years old.
Yeah.
She looked so young and so
Pure and innocent.
Okay, right. And then she didn't just speak it, she performed it.
Yes.
And you saw her move.
Yes.
You saw her
Yes, I was so excited.
and you felt every word, and then you heard little touches of Shameen rhyming, and so, you know, for us old school people, you know what I mean?
Yes,
rhyming there, right?
Justice.
Right? But then to find out that she's a 22 or 23-year-old
22.
Harvard graduate.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Yes.
I also want to talk about the fact that for the first time, we have a woman, Indian, African-American vice president,
Yes.
who, if the stars align, will one day be president of the United States. That could happen. That could happen. And I think that as I look at her, I see hope there. I see promise there. I believe that if she is any bit what she could be, we're going to be in a better place. We can't be in a worse place.
Not really.
But, and now here's where I put the dun. One day, I'm going to write a book.
Another?
Another book. This book is going to be called 70 Million People. Because, talk about mental health, in my mind, I still can't get around that.
Yeah.
That bothered me so much because I thought, obviously wrongly, that his base was going to get crushed. I thought maybe 30 million people is his base. All the people that you saw storming the Capitol, his base. I said, okay, fine. There has to be more. They may not be Democrats, but they are intelligent people who, whether or not you care that his policy, you like his policy for whatever reason, you don't like the man. And the man is not a good representative of who the United States is. So 70 million people bothers me. Because I'm thinking, despite what they think about the man, they still voted for him. That bothers me so much. Mental health, I still can't get around that. And so my book has to discuss that, because I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one, right? But fine. Those 70 million people, I believe, based upon Biden's speech, many of them will gradually, not his base, mind you, but many of them will gradually understand and come to where he is. I do know one, and I'll let that just be a very good friend of mine. He is Republican. He has always said, no matter who's president, that is his president. So Biden is his president. And he is going to, see, he's not his base, but he says Biden is the president. So there are people like that who will come around and be okay.
Well, that is sort of the problem, though, with this whole concept of his philosophy. And that is that somehow the truth fails to be the truth in certain spaces. I don't care what anyone thinks. The reality is Joseph R. Biden is the president.
Yes.
So there aren't like opinions that people can hold that change that. Like some people might say that shirt is blue, and someone else might say that shirt is aqua, and someone else might say that shirt is pewter, right? Those are opinions that can be debated. But the fact of the matter is, Joseph R. Biden is the president. So anyone who still holds a notion that that is not based in fact needs a therapist. Because the reality is there are some facts that are immutable. There are some truths that cannot be explained away by your base. There are some realities that cannot be skewed because you have a mob of angry people whose feelings are hurt because their supposed power has been diminished. The reality is the 70 million people that you need to speak to and speak of in your future book need to understand that white supremacy is a sickness and was always a tool to be able to control groups of people. So what was really the most challenging for those who are in the educated space was this man is not doing anything for poor people. This man is not doing anything for people who don't have something that they can give to him. So the reality is that he was able to stir up wide swaths of support from folks that didn't have the financial resources of those who he protected was always baffling until you break it down to he created a feeling of lack. And if you feel like you only have 2 nickels to rub together, and someone who they can point to is saying that person is trying to take your nickels, now all of a sudden you have created an animosity that is not based in fact. If I walked up to somebody and said, I don't want your nickels, but you had convinced them that I was going to take them, do you think that they'd be prepared to have a conversation with me about it? Absolutely not. I'd walk up, they'd slap me and say, you can't have my nickels. Well, it is all a matter of the persona and the image and the hate and the negativity that this person put into folks and stirred up among them because of the lack.
I have something to say. I really, and I can appreciate what you're saying, but I really think that we give this guy too much power, too much credit. When we say that he has stirred up things in people and riled people up based on a lie, I think some of that is true. But I think what we saw at the Capitol is not just Donald Trump. And I know that some folks may say, I heard you say that white supremacy is a sickness. And I think that's okay, that's an opinion, but I really think it's a belief system. And it's a belief system that those criminals from Europe came here with, and with the mind of manifest destiny. And I don't think that those people died. Their descendants are here alive and well. And they see the writing on the wall and they don't like it. Now, Donald Trump may have sounded the alarm, for that day, but that stew had been cooking. You get what I'm saying? And it's a reality too. So,
But we are not saying in this room that all 70,000 of those people are racist, skinhead thinking sycophants of him, are we? We're not saying that, are we?
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything as pertaining to their numbers, but I don't think that, I'm looking at the people there at the Capitol. That's just what we saw. What about the people where they all reside and who they are? They're not wearing hoods anymore, or maybe they do, I don't know. But they could be your doctor or your attorney. You know, I don't want us to make it like, oh, Donald Trump has, you know, yeah, maybe he did, and he has I don't know. You know, that's his legacy.
He didn't start it, but he stirred the pot.
Right, and then people are saying, oh, he's going to have the worst legacy in history, but that, you know, perception it depends on who you talk to. Because for him and his base, he did what he wanted to do. And he also said that wasn't the end of it. So, I don't know, I don't want to be negative. I just want to be real that energy does exist, and it's not just, if Donald Trump was to drop off the face of the earth right now, that would not be like over.
So
Agreed.
I know you want to speak, you mentioned facts, right? So, opinion. Is Donald Trump the worst president ever? That's opinion, that's fine. Here's fact. He's the only person to have been impeached twice. Woo! Fact, people. So when history looks at his presidency, that's what they're gonna see.
And he's the only president that's live coming out the Yankee where the media actually had to sit down and
Stop.
That's a fact.
Stop.
And it's also,
You hear this thing, like they do that, he's the only president that lied, blah, blah, blah.
No, I said that they had the media had to count all the lies and
Okay,
lies so much.
I don't believe in the government did that much at all, okay?
No.
A lot of presidents, okay?
We're not talking about a lot of
You know,
people
come
lies
from the
there.
good.
We're not
We don't
talking
need
about
all
that.
this.
Every time he opened his mouth, he told a lie.
Well, can I say
Okay,
this?
but
Wait.
Yeah.
You want to speak more?
well, I wanted to say with regards to what you were saying, okay, about the 70 million people, okay, and are they all Trump's base? No, they're not, okay, not in the sense of those that stormed the Capitol or whatever, they're not that. What they are, though, is that you did then touch upon it, talking about those that came across and brought, came to this country and started all this upwards, okay, whatever. It goes back to that. It goes back to slavery. And when we talk about, we had evidence of it this summer with Black Lives Matter movement, okay, and all the people who shot whom, and why did they shoot them? Why was the cop on Ford's neck? Okay, why was this one? I can't even think of all the names, but Lord have mercy. Why did they shoot them in the back and so on and so forth? Who were these people? And why was it that in that crowd of Black Lives Matter movement, we had people, not just black people, we had people from all walks of life joining in. Those people were the ones who were educated. Now I'm talking about with degrees, but understanding of this history of this country and the systemic racism involved in it. Those were the knowledgeable people. The people that's the 70,000 are not that.
70 million.
Okay, 70 million, yes.
Yeah.
The sad part is that when we think about it as educators, when I was in school, there was no such thing. You didn't get history. You didn't get truth. Okay? We got fed lies. Lies about the Native Americans, we were called the Indians. I grew up in New York. They talk about one Indian, the Iroquois Indians. That was it.
Pocahontas.
You saw on TV. We got Pocahontas, that was another lie. Okay, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
But we've talked about this before. He who holds the pen holds the mic.
Right.
So the reality is the systematic disempowering of people was not because I have any opinion about you as an individual. The systematic disempowering of people was always about the land grab. It was always about holding the resources. So absolutely, it is not about one person. When you talk about white supremacy, it isn't about a single iconic individual. It is about a desired philosophy to own all the stuff.
That's right.
So I don't want there to be any confusion about the fact that the reason why history was altered was because someone had a moral high ground. The reason why history was altered was because there are diamonds in Africa that De Beers were trying to own. The reason why history was altered was because there is gold in Africa that the Jostens people or whoever the largest gold share owners are. The confusion that most people hold is that this is personal. It isn't that there is a person who sits on high and thinks to themselves, oh, I don't like people from that continent. No, I want their stuff. It is about resources.
The thing that people...
A general premise, but not 100%, okay? On a general level, and what I was talking about is the average Joe Blow or Mary Jane or whatever. I was talking about in the school systems, okay, nobody's educated. The people complain and says, oh, so-and-so's asking me, well, how can I be a better person? I don't know this, I don't understand about systemic racism because I've never experienced it. Why haven't you experienced it? Okay, because you're not part of that demographic, unfortunately. How are you gonna learn about that how it became, like what you're talking about, how did that come to be or whatever? People need to get educated. They're not educated. It's not in any history books. It's not anywhere. You really have to dig, like what you're doing for your research paper and so on and so forth. You have to dig to find the evidence. It's there, but if you're not told, if your mind is not opened up to say, well, I don't understand this, and how am I going to learn to understand what they're talking about? How am I going to know? You have to search for it. And until people have that open-mindedness, like the people who did march along in Black Lives Matter movements, those are the people that have the open minds. The rest of them, that 70 million, they don't.
Do you know, to me, what is more dangerous than a white supremacist or a person who hates a particular race, whatever the race is? But what's more dangerous than a person who hates a particular race is a person who just doesn't care. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, and this is what you were saying, right? When they took slaves, it wasn't because they hated us. They just didn't care. They saw us as a commodity. That's all. As a way to make money, which is why when many people who died before they even got to America, it was just $1.00 on the ledger. Mm-hmm. They didn't hate us back then. They just didn't care. Mm-hmm. That to me scares me a heck of a lot more than somebody who hates me. And this is what I saw. This is what I saw in this administration, past administration. I don't think he cared. I just don't think he cared. I don't think he cared at all. Not one little bit. Now the people who you see, they dressed up for this. People, come on. They dressed up for the storming of the Capitol. They come on. What? I thought they were at a college football game. Okay, I did at a college football game. They dressed up for it.
That was your chambre, okay? That was it.
Okay. You know you're committed when before you go, you're at home going, hey, should I paint myself blue or pewter? You know what I mean? Okay, so while I'm having fun, I wanted to talk about the future, and it's my fault. I talk about the 7 million people who brought us back to the past. Now, in our next segment, let's take that and let's look towards the future and see how we're going to build a better America ourselves, mental health and otherwise. Now look here. We are now in the next segment, okay? We are Flower Square, 2251 Flower Road, segment of Black Wall Street with a purpose, with a meaning.
With a beach.
With a beach. Unapologetically, we are 90% black owned. And that means something to us, and it means something to the community. And so we are proud to say that this is the Square Biz podcast, and I am your host, Aaron Boyce, and you are
Robin Rosehamer.
Stick around. We're going to talk about the future. We're going to talk about how this gets better. With Steve Beckett too. My name is Aaron Boyce, host of the Square Biz podcast here at Flower Square, where culture meets business. 2251 Flower Road, 24th and Flower Road, right here in the heart of South Sacramento. I'm here at what we call the Wall of Miracles. That absolutely defines the African American experience in Africa and here in the United States. On these walls, you will find the coming from the continent to coming to America and our successes that we have had despite the adversities and the problems that have systemic racism that have occurred from the early 1600s until now. So come on in, check us out. We really want you to come through this wall. We want you to experience this wall. We want you to understand who we are by this wall and through this wall. Aaron Boyce, Square Biz Podcast. Check us out on social media. We're at 2251 Flower Road, Flower Square, where culture meets business.
Florence Square, where culture meets business. Florence Square, where culture meets business.
Well, this is our last segment of this episode of Square Biz. This is the first Square Biz of 2021. Woo, woo! That was me being excited.
Woo! We can tell.
Okay. I wish I could do that, but I can't. 2251 Flower Road. We have so much stuff here for you. We have Retail Row. Lots of folk here waiting for you to come in and shop with them. Things that you can't find at Art Mall, and you definitely can't find at Galleria. Something you can't find anywhere but here. We have one of the best bookstores, as I mentioned, Black Gold and Black Green. I mean, I walk there and it's like Candyland up in that store. But people who like novels, books, and education, you know what I mean? So it's really great. Then we have service folk, who are here to help improve your mind, improve your body, give you, a nice presence in the community. Then we have folk to help you with legal issues and immigration issues and tax issues and birthing issues, family issues, children issues. We got all sorts of folk, right? And soon we're going to have, by the way, I should mention eyeglasses. Eyeglasses, right? So, soon we're going to have the Wellness Center and the food court. We're expanding the museum. February 6th. February 6th is the grand opening of the new museum. And it's just phase one. It's just phase one. Yes. The museum, you go from here to here to here. We are very excited. And I guess that is a good way to segue into what I'm talking about here. What is exciting you about the future? Where do you see it going, and what is your role in it? So let's start with Robert. Let's start with you.
Well, I think one of the most positive and potential lead-in outcomes of the election is the seat at the table, the invitation to participate by the administration. The new administration has invited over 50% of the cabinet to be women. The majority of the people who have been asked to serve in the Biden administration are non-traditional folk. The women of color, they have the first trans appointee to any cabinet position. The first woman as Treasury Secretary. So in positions where women have not traditionally served, they are being welcomed in and ushered in this new era. So the reality for America is that diversity is the way of our future. If we embrace diversity, embrace what everyone has to offer, we can achieve our greatness. Together, everyone achieves more. The idea that singly we can be successful it's just a fallacy. It's rooted in Native American culture, actually. They have a saying that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. So the reality is that we need each other. We need a diverse set of opinions. There are many studies that have been done that in times of crisis, the most successful organizations are those that are helmed by women. And maybe it's the estrogen. Maybe it's the fact that, we don't cry when we get a cold. Maybe it's because
why do you feel so alone here?
Maybe it's because something about the ability to bring life into the world does allow for cooler heads to prevail. But whatever it is, the reality is it requires all of us to be successful. So one of the most encouraging things for me is that this administration is flinging the doors open wide and saying, come one, come all, we need everybody. We need your opinion, we need your opinion, we need their opinion. We don't have any of them. Bring them here. Find us some of them to ensure that we have a greater opportunity at success. Because we have some wicked problems, right? We talked about that at the beginning of the show. The reality is that we are not going to solve COVID anytime this week, right? We are not going to be out of this economic conundrum anytime this month. And we certainly are not going to heal the 400-year-old rifts in our country in the next month. So what we have to do is compile great thinkers and big minds and people who are willing to approach circumstances from a variety of different positions so that we can iterate. Because that's how we will solve the problems. It's not just, I have an idea and we just do the one thing, but we do something and then we try it and then we make small changes. And then we do something and then we try it and then we make small changes. And the only way that we are going to be able to come up with those innovations, those great ideas, is by curating all of the potential answers and coming up and distilling it into the most powerful options. So I think that the diversity of our organizational power is going to be our strength.
Why am I the only one writing on that board? I'm just asking. Okay?
I read it.
Okay? Well, she ain't writing on it. You ain't writing that either. Okay?
I was talking, I can't talk.
Okay, all right. So when you feel something, just write it on the board. That's all. That's all. Cool. All right.
So,
Well,
no.
go. Yeah. So the future.
The future, what do I feel good about?
What do you feel good about?
I feel like one thing that this election, and not just the election and the new change of power, but also to everything that has transpired and the fact that we are such a resilient people. I think that not only now are we resilient, I think a lot of us are uninhibited, like we're not holding back. We know that this is our time, so to speak, and if you're going to manifest, now is the time. And so I think that I feel excited about that. I feel excited about the fact that there are young girls that now look up to women in a whole new way. Like they knew that we were magic, but they actually have proof. And so I'm excited about that. I'm excited about business development. I'm excited that there are more people owning businesses. There's more people stepping out on faith and opening their businesses, stimulating the local economy. Folks are sewing into the local economy. They're understanding the cause and effect of shopping local. So, I'm excited about that. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I really am. I'm excited.
Okay, cool, I like that. We got 3 or 4 I'm excited, so she must be excited. No, go ahead.
Well, pretty much on a similar theme, these two ladies have spoken about women and the youth that follows, okay, as Kamala was saying, okay, little girls are looking up, and so many of the other, okay, candidates were running, their female candidates were talking, says our children are watching. And I know my granddaughter, who's 8 years old, she's an avid reader. Every time something happens with regards to a woman and whatever, she has the book for Kamala Harris, she has a book for Michelle Obama, and Barack Obama, and so on and so forth, and learns and understands what that means and what that represents and where she fits in. And so to see, like you're saying, okay, these women being embraced after 100 years of suffrage, okay, not having the right to vote and not being a part of anything, you're supposed to be on the side silent and the whole 9 yards, okay, that girls can dream. They can hope to be whatever they want. When I was a little girl, I had no idea that my mother wanted to be an engineer. She was great in science, but I didn't find that out until after she died. An engineer? Wow. Then I see the movie Hidden Figures and I'm like, oh my God. And ironically, I end up owning now an engineering business. So I said, it's kind of going to go back, but we're giving now that dream and that hope and that possible promise to know that even though you're a little black girl, okay, and she's not my complexion, where back in the day, okay, they had the audacity to make it seem like you got it better because now today, like a beautiful woman, Amanda Gorman, is stood up there, beautiful complexion and everything, intelligent, okay, literate. Oh my God, I just got chills all over my body to know that my granddaughter can look at this person, this young lady, and aspire and hope to something better, you know, and to know that she can do anything she wants to do. So I think that is a big, big deal. You know, I asked her what she wants to be. She wants to be a doctor, she wants to be an engineer, whatever. But it's all possible. You know, we don't have to worry about the color of our skin in that respect.
I want to say something again, can I? You know what I thought, and I haven't heard people talking about, but so I watched the inauguration day, you know, while I was on my work day, I was listening and looking at that. And folks from all over the country and stuff like that were congratulating them. And then also, too, we have people from other planets. Did you guys check that out?
The International Space Station?
Yes. Yes, and I just thought like, oh my God, we're on other planets.
I think that broadcast was from one of the science stations that's in space. That is, they're doing, I think, some water testing and one other kind of experiment that zero gravity contributes to. I am not a scientist, so
Yeah,
that's just something I read about. Reading I do, science not so much. But I recall that as part of the broadcast.
Yeah, and I just thought this is an amazing time. But anyway, I thought that was notable.
So, I think I'm excited
Are you excited?
I am.
You don't sound excited.
I'm very excited.
Woohoo!
I am dancing from my toes to my hair bristles on top of my head.
Okay.
I'm
On the
excited.
inside.
Well, it's called slow burn. Slow
Got it,
burn,
got
okay? Okay?
You don't want to overwhelm us with your excitement all at once.
Not all at once.
Got it.
Okay.
We appreciate that.
Because you know that if you get me started,
Hard to get you stopped.
because I am excited. But I'm excited about locally. I'm excited about us. I'm excited about the things that we are doing. I'm excited about the fact that us black folk over the summer of last year stood up and was counted. And it became a worldwide phenomenon. A worldwide phenomenon. I'm excited that we were not alone in this. I'm excited that other people did indeed join us. I'm excited that the young people came out and spoke. I'm excited that the OGs like John Lewis and C.T. Vivian were honored. I'm excited that women continually found their voices to make great change and to bring positive energy into the world.
And to your point, there's even an exciting young woman in this district who won the first Hmong council person in the history of the city of Sacramento.
Okay.
And she's a young boy.
Yes.
She's part of the new establishment in politics in the Sacramento
And I'll be
region.
very excited when I get to meet her.
She's a very exciting young woman.
All right then. In addition to that, I'm excited that people saw things that kind of, you know what, it kind of changed the way they thought about what happened over the summer. It did. What happened over the Capitol changed the way it happened over the summer. I'm excited about that. The future is about not just change, but opening the window to all this change. The window is definitely open, folks. 70 million people, his base, all the folks are not going away. As you said, it won't dissipate. We're gonna have to find a way to work with them, and that's what I'm excited about also. They don't want to be silent anymore, that's fine. We don't want them to be silent. But we want to find a way to coexist. I believe that. I believe coexistence is mandatory in these United States. I do. Okay? And so I'm excited that at least now we have the opportunity to do so. At the same time, we here have started a movement as well. And I'm going to do one of these things only because, not about me, but about Flower Square. And yes, the only place that I know, 74,000 square feet, with almost 100 tenants, 90% of the black, you can't find another place anywhere within Northern California, not with such magnitude. And I challenge you, if I'm wrong, prove me wrong. I'm excited about that, because we're doing great and wonderful things. And it's about community. It's about the community. And we all know, when the tide rises, all ships rise. That's not my quote. I'm making sure if it said the quote.
Rising tides lift all boats.
Okay, fine, like that. You know something, bitch, I got a PhD. Okay, fine. So, what she said. Because it does. And the tide doesn't care if you're a man or woman, if you're black or white, what gender you associate yourself with. The tide doesn't care. It lifts all boats. And that's what got me excited. 2021, I expect to be doing great things. And it's nice to know that our leadership at least will do things intelligently, politely, respectfully. I could not deal with 4 more years of stupidity. I think I would have went on that spaceship that we talked about. So
It's nice to be nice, and I think that you bring up a good point, is that
civility is great.
civility is one of the few things that have set this nation apart from many of the others of our foes. And that is, even in defeat previously, we have been a civil nation. In the past 4 years, there has been a meanness and mean-spiritedness that has been pervasive that is what is now gone.
Yes.
We don't have to feel as if there is the cruelty that had been pervasive in our society in the past. Now, there are a great many people who still are looking for a way forward. There is no completion of the road. We are still building, we are still working to find ways forward for everyone, because that's the right thing to do. But the only way forward is through, and so we have to keep trying.
So Robert, I'm so glad that he's back.
Back-ish.
No.
I'm back-ish.
What you don't know is I have some shackles under my table here. Now, of course.
According to Abraham Lincoln, we's free.
Well, I'm more afraid of who's gonna put them on you. That's what I'm afraid of. Because first of all, I'm outnumbered.
It would take a bad man.
It would
Let's just
take a
say.
bad man. Clearly.
You're gonna have finished.
Then you won't see me until October. If we're waiting until I'm finished.
Okay, can you not say that, please?
Well, I didn't realize it was that length of time, sorry.
But before we say our goodbye, let's give maybe 15 seconds or so. One last thing. And Shrima, why don't you start? One last thing.
One last thing I'd like to put out, okay, peace and love to everyone, okay, and hope and joy that people who have had to endure the last year, that most everybody has suffered in one manner or another, and to all the families, unfortunately, that have lost a family member to COVID, okay, and dealing with that loss, and to all of those, okay, who have worked the front lines to help to keep, keep those as safe as possible. I had a daughter that was working the front lines in Chicago. Okay, it's very, very trying to them. They get burnt out very easily. So peace and blessings to all of those that put their foot forward and worked feverishly, okay, tirelessly, okay, to helping others, and wishing for a better year for all of them.
That's the longest 15 seconds. No. Thank you. All right. Dana, one last thing.
I just want to say, like she also said, I want to send light and positive energy, and we all should, to those that are on the front line. I know that the president said that it's going to probably be another 9 months before we're out of the woods. So, wishing everybody that resiliency that we operated and navigated on throughout this year. We also need to make sure that we keep that same energy going forward, and wishing everybody peace and love and mental health.
Amen.
Yeah, mental health and taking care of family.
Wonderful. Thank you. Robert, who we miss you, we love you. Please come back soon. One last thing.
One last thing. Wash your hands, wear your masks, stay at home, and if you can't do all of those things, then give each other the space and grace of at least 6 feet.
Amen.
You know, I think you, the viewer, have seen me touch this mask and maneuver this mask and put it up, put it down at least 100 times during this podcast alone. It's not fun. It's not fun. But I wear it because I care about my safety and the safety of my family. Some people say, oh, it doesn't work. I don't know if it works. I don't. What I do know is that I would rather go out doing what I can to be safe than doing nothing. I'd rather be wrong on the right side, you know what I mean? You know? So, are you trying to talk?
I'm waiting, I'm just waiting now.
This is one last thing. So,
Yeah.
you got one last thing? Okay, I'll let you have your one last thing.
Please get vaccinated when you have the opportunity. My husband is a super senior. He had his first shot. He's due to get his booster in February, beginning of February. He had no side effects. It was very simple and painless. So I encourage everyone when they have that opportunity to get vaccinated. Just like years ago, we got smallpox. Okay, when I was a little girl, nobody has smallpox really anymore. My kids, they got measles shots. I had measles when I was a kid, but nobody gets hardly measles anymore. So the vaccinations work. Okay, they can help. So please.
Now, that's an interesting thing because I want, what about the next topics to be about the vaccination. In the black community, there's still a lot of trepidation, and I said for who knows what reason, I said, I want to get a Vaseline. I want to get the vaccination, but I want to get it in Colorado Hills. Now, why am I saying that?
I know why
You tell me, okay? But I think that's a conversation that we need to have our next podcast about the vaccination. My one last thing is, if you run a nonprofit, if you're helping the community, we have a MOU, Flower Square Community Development Corporation wants to work with you. We want to collaborate with you. So therefore, come in, call me, 916-215-1831, and let's discuss you working on an MOU with us. Because together, we find success. I am Aaron Boyce, and you are
Robin Rosehamer.
and you have been listening to Square Biz podcast at 2251 Flower Road, and we have to say
Square
goodbye.
Culture Meets Business.
Peace.
Florence Square, where culture meets business.